Hi, it's me, Chio. Welcome. We are back for another episode of the Smart Money Woman, and this episode is episode 8. So, naturally, we will start from the chapter before we go into the TV series. Now, the topic for the book is the power of networking, meeting people, etc. So, Zuri is going for the WIMBIZ conference. I don't remember what the initials are, but I think that's what it is. So women's conference. And I completely forgot this was even in the story because this was introduced to her by her boss that she's supposed to go for this. And I completely forgot there was a storyline here. But yeah, she has to go for the conference. And I don't blame Zuri for a skeptical view of the conference, honestly, because I've gone for my fair share of them. And I know the feeling of thinking you're going to have growth and it's just people either wasting time, things not being organized, or people just telling you stories that doesn't actually do anything to help. And sometimes there's this air of I'm here to make connections. It's so fevered that you don't feel the natural flow of things. Of course, this could also be because of my personality and how I interact with crowds. So still, when you're called to do it for work, when it's a professional setting and they tell you to do something like this, your own preferences aside, you're supposed to be willing to go for it. So at least she has no choice at this point and she's going for the conference, but she decides to get her friends to go with her for the conference so that she would not feel uncomfortable if it's the worst case scenario. So they all get there and they are getting ready to go in, settle down, when Adesua makes a comment about Zuri dressing really nice. And then she says something like, oh, this is a women's conference, there are no men here, so why are you dressing nice for? Kind of comment. And while this is not a big deal, it's really nothing, but at the same time, it stems from something. It's not an insultive comment, it's nothing wrong with the comment. It's just a kind of understanding how the world works. It kind of just highlights the problem of the assumption of a woman dresses up for a man. There's no problem just not for your man. It's just not for all men. The concept of that is weird. Anyway, Zuri is actually just not for someone because she's expecting to see Shola later that day at their own workplace. So yes, Zuri, you failed. Feminists everywhere. Okay, I'm exaggerating. It's not even about that. But yeah, she's dressing up for she wants to look nice for the guy she likes, basically. And I'm looking, I don't know, okay, this is probably I don't know, I'm so out of touch with life, but I don't know if it's an actual conference. I guess it's an actual conference. I didn't bother to check that goes on. And I was expecting to know how the conference really is, to see this something that stands out, but all I'll see is a whole lot of name and brand dropping, just sentences of, oh, I met this person, oh, I met that person. And meeting a billion famous people doesn't really mean you can learn anything there. The only luck you have is if you actually get to talk to someone and you connect with them and it helps you in a way. But the point of the conference is to inspire and teach practical means to advance yourself as a working woman. So if it's just networking, it's not really doing its job. And yes, we do get to a point where there is a kind of teaching. We don't really get into any specific content teaching. It's just this general thing that most people know. So it's this long-winded talking that is not beneficial because we don't get to the main point of, we don't get to any specific lessons that is new to anybody. But whatever, it's a short book, so it's not like they're trying to use the book to teach us something on this topic because it's about something else. So I get it. So basically the whole book is spent on Zuri's experience at this conference. Not really much, just her experience meeting different famous people at this conference. And the last part, we get to see her go back to her office for a final meeting to conclude the deal her company had with Shola's company. And after the deal is concluded, Shola and Zuri start talking, and he admits that he had feelings for her, but because he was trying to keep things professional, he decided not to approach her with his feelings until the deal was concluded, so he would not mix personal and business life. While that is true, I think he kind of got it crossed some boundaries before, but okay, maybe it's still me that is reaching or seeing like too much information there. But being professional and all he waits for after the deal is concluded. And there's this admittance of, oh yeah, I like you, she too, she likes him. And I'm honestly wondering, how do you find romance in money talk? Like all they talk about, all we are aware they really talk about is money and Zuri's financial problems. There's this back offhanded, oh yeah, they talk about their childhood too kind of comments, but the majority of their discussion is just about money. And I think if there's nothing else that is like really the most substantial conversations, it's really not a romantic topic at all. I don't think there's anything romantic about talking about money. But okay. And with this, the admittance and everything, the chapter kind of ends. She also talks about how she talked about the lesson with him, how she was able to meet people and all that. And that's how we get to know the value of networking. But after reading this, I mean, it's not like it's a new thought for me or anything like that. It's just the awareness that for such a short, like it's a really small book, how is there so much room to name drop and product drop when there's so much more we're supposed to be learning or experiencing or something? I don't know, I just find it odd. And my second thought, which I will still get into when I'm done with reading the whole book, is can the average Nigerian relate to this story? Yes, there are elements that anybody can relate to, no doubt about that. And the financial lesson is for everybody, no doubt about that. It's just, at least now anyways, maybe like I'm so out of it that I don't know how much difference, like my memory is so bad I can't remember how things were before, but it just seems like the lifestyle she's living and how easy, that's the thing, that how easy it is for her to overcome the obstacles she faces is not what a normal person would be going through. Like she's making like a really dope salary, so it's quite easy to come out from the issues she's facing and the lessons she's going through. But the average person doesn't make that amount of money, so they cannot really, if they get into the debt situation she had, they can't come out. The average person doesn't go around splurging on only designer products. If we did, we'd probably be owing way more money than she does. So yeah, I know it's just the relatability of it, the way the book kind of makes you feel like, oh, as far as you have your ducks in a row, you're good. But for most people, you can't even get to the point to start thinking of getting your ducks in a row. So yeah, that's what my view is with the book. But when I finish reading it, I'll have a better understanding and know how I feel about everything in general. So with this, I decided to go into the TV show. And in my mind, before I start watching it, I'm already thinking like, oh my goodness, am I going to have to watch a whole conference go on? And luckily I didn't have to. Now, I don't know if the next episode or any of the episodes is going to still have the conference featured, because at this point I can't even remember if it was mentioned in the TV series at all. But I hope it isn't. I really hope it isn't, because I feel like that kind of thing will be long and drawn, and I feel like I'm working instead of just enjoying an experience. But the TV series kicks off with the first scene. They're doing this cycling class thing, and yeah, it's kind of like power. I don't know how to describe it. I didn't find cycling classes to be funny, though I've never gone for one. It's just every time I see a clip of it, I'm like, okay, you're getting really pumped up. Okay, I'll live vicariously through you on my couch. That's how I feel about those classes. And then they're done with their exercise. That's all the girls. They are all together for the exercise. And then they're done with it, and they're just having a discussion. And Tammy gets a call from a guy that invites her out to drinks. We get to know that from this conversation, she's dating two guys, and congratulations, Tammy, on your accomplishments. The thing with dating two guys, I don't think it's cool, actually. I think it's fine if you go on one or two dates with more than one person when you're starting off, like around the same time, because you're trying to figure out who is actually interested, who you're interested in, and all that. But besides the first or second dates, that's if they're the same time, like you've dated someone for 5 times, they start doing first and second date to the second person. No, I mean, like if you meet them around the same time or whatever and go on first dates, I think that's okay. I've not experienced this, so I don't actually know how I would feel in the situation, but I think logically it's okay to do. But I don't know what Tammy's own scenario is. I don't know. I'm not cool with the idea of dating more than one person at once, but I think it's reasonable to go on dates with more than one person at once to figure things out. So Tammy decides to invite the girls along. She tells the guys so they expect them to go to this club and have fun and get to know Tammy's new guy and all of that jazz, just have a good day and be spent on, basically. And as they walk into the nightclub, I feel like something in my mind just clicked, told me like, this is the reason you don't like clubs. It's not because you're introverted. It's not because clubs themselves are particularly gross or something. It's because Nigerian movies have always made clubs to look like the worst experience ever. It's always displayed as this combination of boring music with bad dancing with people that you'd naturally not want to hang around with. That's what club scenes always look like. So it always just looks like this really uncomfortable scenario. Yeah. So the girls are at the bar area waiting, then the guy, Bobby, finally shows up. And how did Tammy, how is this the person you're interested in? How did he tell you he's doing this type of career and you believed it? You're lying to yourself. I can't remember what he said. His career is something in engineering, I think. Some big company engineering, something, I don't know. But you can tell that this person is not what the person said he is. Second, he's quite aggressive. Like the way he pulled Zuri, don't pull me like that. Just everything about him and his cronies, his groupies, his whatever. Ugh, I can't even interact with that kind of scenario. And it's just a lot of nonsense. He's throwing money at them. He makes a funny comment about he's going to kill all of them, and of course they are rightfully scared because his general persona doesn't make it seem like a joke, and it's like, I'm going to kill you with fun or something like that, and like kind of reaction. And my mind's like, isn't this the stories I've been hearing since I was young about how they used to steal people's destinies, that they invite you for this kind of club activities, throw money at you, say weird lines, and next thing you know, you're waking up and your destiny has been stolen and now you're going to live the rest of your life poor. I know I'm kind of like going off track, but honestly, this is the scenario, and how the time we feel happy or uncomfortable in this, I don't know. But luckily for her friends have better eyesight, so they can see the whole scenario is weird. So when they're on their own after the whole stuff, they're just together in someone's house, I don't know whose house, and they make Tammy know that the whole encounter, the whole experience was not something they would ever want to repeat, and she should not be with this guy. If Tammy listens, who knows, but at least they've told her. And as the talk is going on about how did Tammy get interested in this person, that's how we find out that Lara has a rich but very much married toaster. And I have a lot of problems with this. I think this is my actually first beef with Lara, and it's like, it's not your fault necessarily in some cases, in lots of cases, when a guy is too forward and sends you things and stuff like that that you never asked for. but it's still your fault if you take it. You're saying you're not interested in him, he's married, and you don't play that game, that he never even like made advances at him or whatever. But you accepted the gift. Like, even though he found your address by himself and sent you the bag, you did not need to bring it into your house. You could have sent it back. If you kept sending it, you did not need to use the bag. You could have just left it lying down somewhere, or thrown it away even, or sold it or something. You did not need to use the bag, because that is kind of like a passive consent to the treatment. So if someone is saying that you're part of the issue of this married couple, you cannot really deny it, because you are. But still, I cannot blame Lara, because some men don't understand what the word no means. They do not know how to not be reasonable. They don't know how to be faithful. Just basically disgusting creatures, you know. And of course, Adeswa is angry with this whole scenario, because she's married and she would not like her husband to be giving someone gifts and stuff like that. So, of course, that is actually her life scenario. And at this point, I'm not sure if she's actually aware that he's cheating on her, or if she's just thinking about, what if it's me? But we know that she's living in some self-delusion at least. So, yeah. And she gets angry with Lara. She kind of insults Lara and she leaves. And it's the whole friction now between both of them, because the two friends aren't talking anymore. When Ladun and Lara are together, Ladun points out to Lara why Adeswa is thinking how she's thinking, but Lara doesn't care. So that's that. We go to Zuri and a Tammy scene, and it's kind of like a random scene where I guess it's also another ad placement or whatever. Zuri is trying to convince Tammy to take out a loan for her work, and Tammy's all about, oh, she doesn't want to take out loan because she's not keeping up her taxes, so she can't even do that. And two, she gets money from her dad or the guy she's with. And Zuri isn't happy about this. She's telling Tammy to be more responsible with her finances, and if she's actually responsible, if she's taking responsibility and all that, she will be making money instead of borrowing money and never returning it. And while that is true, advising her to take a loan from a bank is not actually the right solution, because if someone doesn't know how to manage the one they have, you cannot put the person at this bigger risk, because the core thing is Tammy doesn't know the value of money. So she will not be able to manage anybody's money, no matter where she's getting it from. So telling her to take out a loan just means that she's going to be owing somebody else money, who is going to be stricter in collecting it back. And if Tammy cannot pay this money back, her business is going to be greatly affected. So I think it's better to start from a safer area than throw her into the deep end. So yeah, I don't agree with Zuri's advice there. Whatever. And from there we go into another Adeswa scene, and she decides to come back home early so that she can prepare food and prepare like special time with her husband. And of course he's not into it, because of course he's not into her. He lies about, oh, last minute the business deal did not go through again, and she's realistically upset, but she doesn't really express her annoyance at that. But she's trying to ask him questions about it to know what the next plan is, and he blows up and starts like basically shouting at her like, see if I don't tell you anything, let me breathe, blah blah blah. And yeah, he's just like an overgrown baby. He's a man baby, and it's so disgusting. It's really disgusting. I cannot stand it. And the way he addresses her, and then he doesn't even really appreciate anything she does, and he's like, oh, they should still spend some time apart because he's growing, because they are apart, so they're not going to sleep in the same room or whatever. And he leaves, and Adeswa is sad about this, so she's just crying. And I'm just wondering, like, Adeswa, at what point will you say it's enough? And of course, that's not her point. Like, she's already says enough, because she tries to she ends up making extra efforts to go to his room apparently and seduce him and all that. it works, but only because he will take it any way he can get it, even though he was just on a call with the person he's cheating on her with. So yeah. And yeah, they kind of give us a view of Ladon's life, how her father-in-law is in the hospital and is battling like a serious ailment, and I don't know how that's going to unfold, but it could spell disaster. I don't know what direction, and that's kind of where the episode wraps up. So what we see here is like a huge difference between the chapter, the book, and the TV series, and this is like the first major change in plot. The other times just like additions, but here is like a complete shift of how things were going, and I don't know what that spells for the rest of the series, the rest of the story, but I am all into the chaos of it. So whatever happens, I'm still going to be watching it, I'm still going to be reading the book, and I will keep you updated as I have been doing every Saturday on the recaps of the shows. And that's it for my video today. If you've liked this one, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and also ring that notification bell so you never miss a thing. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.